Okay, folks, we're here at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, which is probably the most famous cemetery in all of Hollywood. It depends on who you ask, but that's Douglas Fairbanks and his son. There's actually a crypt down underneath that. They clearly have the best, you know, I mean, like, how did they get the whole water fountain and the whole shebang? But they did. And we're going to try to find the crypt of Darren McGavin and Vampira. Now, some people call her Vampira, but we're gonna just take a walk around this famous lake. This is literally the most expensive ground in the world per square foot. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars. And who do you see right off the bat? Micky Rooney. Right there. Micky Rooney. He was from a different era of movies, but he was the biggest movie star in the world. And he's, in my favorite movie of his would be Black Beauty. So hello, Micky Rooney. And this place is just chock full of crypts. Here's Anne Heche. She's probably most famous for, you know, having a relationship with Ellen DeGeneres. But on top of that, she was in the remake of Psycho. She's born the same year I was. She had a crazy ending. When I say crazy, it's absolutely insane, because she just like went nuts and started driving her car around, and she wrecked it into a house. There's a video of her leaping up, but then she shortly died right after. But look at this one, Baron Clemente von Frankenstein. Unbelievable. There's von Frankenstein right here in front of the sign that says Hollywood Memorial Park. Now, before we go and we try to find Vampirella, which I'm gonna have to use an app to find her and find him, Darren McGavin, I'm gonna step in here because I don't know where, but somewhere in here is literally the most famous movie star, depending on who you ask, ever. It was Rudy Valentino. Oops, excuse me. Sorry. Now I'm going to tell you exactly how to find celebrities when you don't know how to find them. Because Rudolph Valentino, who's by far the most famous actor of all time, and there he is. So do you want to know how to come in, make a left, and I'm going to tell you how to find them. You want to know how to spot them? Most of these people, look at it, 1925, 1920, 1919, 1965. You know, these people have been dead a long time. And here's a tribute right here to Rudolph Valentino. And there's this picture. And here's his script. Rudolph Valentino, born 1895, 1926. He was doing silent movies, of course, and he became a worldwide sensation. And there he is, Rudolph Valentino. Its plot, and I don't know if this is, I guess it's underneath. It's 1205, Rudolph Valentino. He died. He was literally like, 30 years old, something like that, 31 maybe. And see, people bring him flowers. So I wanted to make a pit stop in here because of that. But when you're walking around and you're just like wondering, are there famous people buried in here? Well, of course there is. One of the most famous people buried in here. And look who this is. Jonathan White. Look at that right there. That's from Bewitched. And there's his death mask, his head bust, says he died in 1990. And there he is from Bewitched. But when you're trying to find famous people, see, that looks like an Oscar of some kind. You find the ones that have flowers in front of it, and you just go right to it, and you just have to make the assumption that somebody famous is there, because people visit their graves all the time. So when you look down this hallway right here, you don't really see any. And you know, I am not a massive movie historian, so to speak. So I can't tell you, like, for example, who E.F. Horton was, who someone has left flowers for him. And as you can see over here, someone has left flowers at this one. I do not know who they are. I'm sure they did something famous along the line. But you can just kind of sort of look down these hallways and look at this. Look who we just found. Edmund Gwynn. He is most famous for being in Miracle on 34th Street. And there's his remains right there. Wow. Now, do you know who else is buried here? Fay Wray from King Kong. She's buried here. But you know, you just always just run right to where you see flowers. I don't know who that is. But usually there's fans of all genres of films. And you can see right here, this is Peter Lorre, because I believe that's Peter Lorre. Maybe I'm wrong? So he's obviously interned right there, his ashes, clearly his ashes. I am sure, without any doubt, that there's tons of screen legends in here. And important figures in history of film. I just don't know all of their names. I'm not an expert. But I know a lot of them. And we just took a look at some of them. Let's see. There's some flowers right here. Let's go take a look. And then we're going to go out and try to find Vampirella's gravesite. You know, I would also like to find Fay Wray. It will be very hard because she's just a plot in the ground. So she has a flat headstone. And so you just, you know, you could look around for days. And there, you know, there's flowers on one down here. Let's go take a peek. Why not? You know, I really enjoy coming to these old cemeteries. Not necessarily. It's like when you see somebody's crypt, you think of all that history, you know, that's permanent. It's in the digital world now. It's not on film that could be melted. It's in the digital world. But let's talk about some of the people who are buried here. You have Bugsy Siegel, the famous gangster. Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman was cremated, and he is believed to be here somewhere. I do not know where, but he is here. Now, let's take a look and walk around the exterior of this lake, because that's where most of the super famous people in this cemetery are buried, with the exception of Judy Garland and some others. This is the crypt of Cecil B. DeMille. So when you hear the term Cecil B. DeMille type of film, you know, like Waterworld, when it came out, you know, it was the most expensive movie ever made. It would have been like a Cecil B. DeMille, because it's over the top. Unnecessary amounts of money was spent. Cecil B. DeMille. Oh, this is Cohen. My bad. So Cohen, Cecil B. DeMille, he's around here somewhere. Oh, okay, he's over there. We'll go by it. We'll see it. But this guy Cohen helped start Sony Pictures, and he's notorious for getting stars to have sex with them to be cast in movies. He's the original Harvey Weinstein. He was very huge in the movie industry. That kind of stuff back in Hollywood was very much the normal thing. This is a crypt right here that has been used in tons of films and movies, and it was also used in a whole season of Dexter. Now you're probably wondering, how do I know all this useless information? I don't know, I just like reading a lot. Now this right here is Anton Yelchin, I think is how you pronounce his name. Most famous for being in the movie Star Trek. He died very young, obviously. He died very tragically. He was backing his car out of the gate, and he went out of his car to shut the gate and didn't put the car in park, and it rolled into him and crushed him, and he suffocated. And he's buried right here, and his parents erected the statue, and they would have paid a dear price to be right here on this lake. It's just crazy how much it cost to be here. And they keep taking away from the lake. Do you see that crypt over there that comes out? And this, like right here, somebody has paid probably millions of dollars to have their grave put there, and they just build into the lake, believe it or not. That's what they do. Now, do you know who else is? Let me walk over here real quick before we go see Chris Cornell. This is a monument to Toto. Toto is not actually buried here. Toto is buried somewhere where it died, you know. They didn't think of that when Toto died. But this is Toto. This is a memorial to Toto. Now there's a lot of memorials here in this cemetery where the person is actually not buried here. There's multiples. For example, we're walking up on, well, Chris Cornell is here. And here's Chris Cornell's grave. Tony Scott is also here, the guy who directed Top Gun. And he actually committed suicide by jumping off a bridge. But this is Chris Cornell from Soundgarden. He also had another band. It was called Something to the Dog. He did a really famous song with the lead singer of Pearl Jam. And here's the funny, not funny, it's not funny at all, but this is the strange twist on Chris Cornell. I'm from St. Louis. Chris Cornell played a concert, and the next day, I think it was the next day, he was supposed to play an event called Point Fest in St. Louis with Soundgarden, and he killed himself the day before he was coming to St. Louis. Is that a bad omen? I don't know. But Chris Cornell was an amazing artist, amazing singer. Just unbelievable. He suffered from depression, heavy depression, and this is Helena Hutchison. She is the woman who was a cinematographer who died while shooting the movie Rust. Her light shapes our lives, keeps chasing your vision. Alec Baldwin shot and killed her, presumably by accident. I don't know if he's being prosecuted for it, but the weapons manager of that movie is in prison. I don't think Alec Baldwin killed her. I don't like Alec Baldwin, just FYI. I think he's a jerk. But, you know, unlike some people, I could be, whether I like the person or don't like the person, you can judge them fairly. I don't like Alec Baldwin. I don't like him at all. But I don't think he should be prosecuted. I don't think he intended to kill anyone. It was a freak accident. Maybe he should have known better and checked the gun himself. He is a veteran of movies. He didn't. But I guarantee you he did not put a bullet in that gun. Obviously, it's pretty much ruined his career. And this poor woman here passed away, unfortunately. And she's buried right here. She couldn't have asked for a better location. And over here is a memorial to Hattie McDaniel. She was in Gone with the Wind. She's not actually buried here. Again, this is a dedication. You can literally see it right there where it says dedication. Hattie McDaniel was one of the first black actresses to break through, and even though she was in a very stereotypical role, but the movie was about the South, you know, just prior to the Civil War or after the Civil War, you know, Gone with the Wind. So she got an Academy Award in 1939, and she broke a lot of barriers, and so they put a memorial for her right here. And it looks like they're preparing for a Johnny Ramone event here. He is not buried here. Now they're coming into the Halloween industry. This was done by guy, Wayne Toth, who's famous for making Halloween props for the haunted house industry. He also has a store here in Los Angeles. It's like the biggest retail store I've ever seen. It's called Halloween Town. And he sculpted that and made that. It's absolutely beautiful. His wife, Johnny Ramone's wife, has his ashes. And you know what? I'm going to ask this guy something. Hey, do you know where Vampira is?
He'll know. Go straight down.
Where?
Go straight down this road.
Yep.
You're gonna look to your left. You'll see a big monument that looks very similar to the one behind us, but it's red.
Mm-hmm.
And just south of it.
So is it on the ring? On this ring and by this pool?
It's on this side of
So it's on that side? How far off that road?
Just right next to the sidewalk. Just go straight down. Right
All the way down.
No, you're gonna go down. Look for a big monument that looks just kind of like this. Four pillars.
4 columns in red.
It's kind of red, and just south of that monument is
she's right across the street. Right
Yeah.
across the street.
Yeah.
So like halfway down across the street, roughly.
More like 3/4.
Yeah,
3/4.
of it.
Okay.
We have maps in the flower shop.
Oh, okay. Thanks. They have maps, folks. Why didn't I get a map? I don't know. But we're gonna keep walking. We want to find Vampira. And you know who else has a monument here, who I don't believe is actually buried here, is Burt Reynolds. He was cremated. Now, some of his ashes might be here. That is possible, but I don't know for a fact. But we are here to find Vampira, and we are here to find Darren McGavin, who was in a TV show that I loved as a kid. It was a great TV show where he was a reporter investigating paranormal, mainly hunting vampires and whatnot. And then, of course, he was also famous for being in the movie Christmas Vacation. And I don't know where Burt Reynolds is, but he's here. Burt Reynolds, he's somewhere. And he should be staring right at that building right there. He's here somewhere. We'll find, oh, there he is. Burt Reynolds is across the way right there. So we're gonna try to find Darren McGavin and Vampira. And they're saying that it's right behind this right here. Let's see if that's true. We're gonna walk behind there and check it out. And it is true, he's there. So if you're trying to find Darren McGavin or Vampira, you can see it right there. Darren McGavin. There's the monument, the mausoleum. Okay, it's right here. Darren McGavin, we found him. Holy cow. The old man. This is kind of emotional. He brings joy to so many people every Christmas. Darren McGavin, May 7th, 1922 to February 25th, 2006, father, husband, actor. Enjoyed a wonderful journey. And there's the signature. Wow. I saw that movie in the theater multiple times as a kid. Now, Vampira should literally be directly behind him. Although I do not see it. Could be in front of him. Let me look. I know it's here somewhere. Yep, there it is. And look, someone here paying their respects to her. We're gonna go take a look at it in just a second. But there it is. But Darren McGavin, he was in so many movies. I think he was also in the movie where the president lost his airplane. Man, I can't even begin to tell you all the movies he was in. It was so many. But, you know, when people think of him, they obviously only think of Toy Story or Christmas Story. Unbelievable. You know, you just gotta soak it in. And he was obviously Kolchak, the Night Stalker. He was in Billy Madison. That's what I was thinking of. With, and he was also in The Natural. Do you remember him in The Natural? That was the movie I was thinking about. It actually wasn't the movie with the airplane. He was in The Natural. Oh man, this is kind of emotional to come out here and see this crypt. He did The Natural right after he did A Christmas Story. Now I'm looking at his list of movies. Man, unbelievable. Darren McGavin, you brought so much joy to so many people. Now we're going to come over here to the grave of Vampira, and it says Hollywood legend. Born in 1922, died in 2008. She's the original Elvira. She had a horror TV show. I think it only ran like a year. But yeah. And so when you're talking about finding this grave, look for this one right here on the road called Kindle. It's right there. And then right there is Darren McGavin. Wow. Now, one of the things she's most famous for is being in the movie Plan 9 from Outer Space. She was also portrayed in the movie with Johnny Depp, Ed Wood. Oddly enough, Ed Wood is also buried here. We can see if we can find his grave. Would you like me to find Ed Wood? He's here. And there's Darren McGavin. Wow. Hold on one. When you think of the movie Christmas Story, you come here, and there is the grave of Darren McGavin, the old man. He's right here in Hollywood Forever Cemetery. And right in front of him is the original Elvira, Vampira, who died in 2008. And they're side by side, and they're right across from the famous pond here at the Forever Hollywood Cemetery. And there they are. I just had to do that. I want to put that on my Instagram. Now, let's walk around the rest of this thing, and we're going to go find Judy Garland, and then I got to head off to Monster Palooza. But we see over here Burt Reynolds, and we're also going to run into the crypt of Cecil B. DeMille. Now, I apologized earlier because I thought that I was doing that with the one that I showed earlier, but clearly I was wrong. Hold on a second. I'm looking for Ed Wood Find a Grave, and I'm gonna see if I can find it. Now there's a map. Oh, it says burial unknown, ashes scattered. No, I believe Ed Wood is his, or at least he has a monument or a marker here. I guess that's what it is. So maybe we cannot find the famous Ed Wood, but I'm almost positive that he has a marker here in this cemetery. But what we don't know, so I'm not going to go on a goose chase looking for it. But what we are going to do is we're going to walk over here and take a look at the monument. And it's not no one knows. I mean somebody knows if he has his ashes are here or somewhere else. But either way, this is Burt Reynolds. And you see pictures of Burt Reynolds down here. It says 1936 to 2018. Burt Reynolds, Smokey and the Bandit. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's got to be top 10. One of my top 10 favorite movies. Or I should say one of my top 10 favorite comedies. I could watch it over and over again. I also loved him in the movie Hooper. He was nominated for Academy Award just the one time where, what the heck was the name of that movie that he did? Where he was a porn director with Mark Wahlberg. But he was nominated for Academy Award. Now, he hated the movie. Probably cost him getting the Academy Award because he spoke out against the movie. But I don't know why he would have such a problem with it, because he also was in another movie called Best Little Whorehouse in Texas with Dolly Parton, I believe. And there it is, Burt Reynolds. Well, that's going to about wrap up this video, folks. There's many, 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 many famous people buried here. When I say many, I mean it's so many you can't even believe it. Okay? It's a list you can't even begin to go over. One of the guys that's buried here is Larry Drake. Do you remember him? He was that, I can't remember the name of that movie, but he was that scary dentist. Anne Frank from the book. She's clearly not buried here, but she also has a memorial here. Again, this place has a lot of memorials where they're not physically buried here. But Anne Frank has one here. Fay Ray is here somewhere. And maybe I could try to find that before we take off. Jane Mansfield has a memorial here. She's not actually buried here, but she has a memorial here. Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman, one of my favorite movies as a kid, is buried here somewhere. He was cremated. And I don't know where. I don't think anybody knows. But he's here. Bugsy Siegel, the famous Bugsy Siegel, the famous gangster, is here. There's a lot of people here. You know, Robert Wall's here, who fought Bruce Lee in one of Bruce Lee's movies. Where in the heck is Cecil B. DeMille? Did I miss it? Huh. I might have missed it. Huh. What I can tell you is Cecil B. DeMille is here. And he has a crib just like this. But this is a famous movie producer from Sony Pictures. Cecil B. DeMille is here somewhere. I don't know where, but he's here. And you can see right here, there's an event gathering for Johnny Ramone. Right over here. Now let me see if I can find Fay Ray. All right. So I got this this little app right here. This is the first time I've ever used it. And it says, and I don't know how to use it. It says, let's see, let's start.
West, then turn right.
Head west. So it says Fay Ray is very, very close. But I don't know where. You guys wouldn't know where Fay Ray is, would you? No?
Sorry.
Let's see. This thing is not helping. Not at all. But she's out here. And then we're right back where we started. There's Douglas Fairbanks. And I think that's going to be about it. Because I don't want to walk around for hours and hours and hours trying to find Fay Ray. Although I would like to find her. I just don't understand what this is telling me to do. And here's Johnny Ramone again. But Fay Ray, I probably would have to find somebody who works here to find it. Because it's one of these... Do you know where Fay Ray is from King Kong? No. Now, there's a lot of knowledgeable people out here. I'll give it one more try. I'll ask this guy over here. And then, this place is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. And I'm telling you, there's so many famous people buried here. It's like off the Richter scale. It really is off the Richter scale. But I do not know where she's at. Hey, do you know where Fay Ray is from King Kong? Where's the Cecil B. DeMille? No, you don't know. All right. Well, I think that's going to about wrap it up. So thanks for coming out here with me. It's getting kind of hot. I'm wearing a jacket. I don't know why. It was muggy and kind of cool earlier. Patricia Ann Taylor. Look at the ducks. Woo! And there you have it, baby. That's all she wrote for today. I hope you liked the tour of just kind of sort of the pond area of Forever Cemetery. Now, the cemetery is massive. You could go on forever and ever and ever and ever, but we're not going to do that. And if you look over here, they're putting the top dirt on someone who was just buried today. Rest in peace. Well, that is going to wrap it up for me today. Here's the takeaway. When you come in, they have a map. Only this idiot right here did not grab the map, unfortunately. But I will tell you that when you look at the Find a Grave, it starts to tell you like where all the famous people are buried, but it's very hard to use it and track these people. Oh man. So anyway, there's a couple more cemeteries I want to hit in Los Angeles. Don't know if I'll get to them today, but I do want to do them. But here, right back to Douglas Fairbanks, we got to see Rudolph Valentino. I mean, what else could you want? Until next time, everybody.